Congratulations to Sarah on her Yale acceptance. Everyone cheered. But I was Sarah, she was Stella. 10 years later, her dream job called me. We need to verify your sister's degree. I smiled and said, I'll send you everything you need. The hiring manager at Preston Associates, one of Manhattan's most prestigious law firms, thanked me and hung up. I sat back in my office chair, looking at the Wall Street skyline from my corner office, and opened the file I'd kept for 10 years. Every receipt, every email, every piece of evidence that my twin sister had stolen my identity, my acceptance letter, and my future. Time for Stella to finally face the music she'd been running from since senior year. Let me explain. Stella and I were identical twins, same face, same voice, same everything except our souls. Where I was studious, she was social. Where I worked, she partied. Where I earned, she expected. Our parents had always favored Stella. Sarah's the smart one, but Stella's the special one, Mom would say, as if intelligence wasn't special enough. They'd hire tutors for Stella while telling me I was fine on my own. They'd celebrate her B's more than my A's. They'd excuse her failures while demanding my perfection. Sarah will be fine, was their constant refrain. Stella needs more help. By senior year, I'd accepted it. I was bound for Yale, early acceptance, full scholarship, the works. I'd worked myself to exhaustion for it. 4.0 GPA, perfect SATs, president of 3 clubs, 500 hours of volunteer work. Yale was my ticket out, my chance to build a life where being the smart one actually mattered. The acceptance letter came on a Thursday. I was at my after-school job at the library. Stella was home sick, code for hungover from Wednesday's party. When I got home, my family was in celebration mode. Champagne, cake, a giant congratulations banner. We're so proud of you. Mom gushed, hugging. Stella, what's happening? I'd asked, confused. Don't be jealous, Sarah, Dad said. Your sister got into Yale. Full scholarship. Can you believe it? The world tilted. That's impossible. Stella smiled at me, shark-like. Is it though? I mean, we're twins. Same grades, same activities. You have a 2.8 GPA. Actually, she said, holding up the letter, my letter, I have a 4.0. See, she'd done it. Somehow, she'd intercepted my acceptance letter and claimed it as her own. And my parents, who'd never bothered to pay attention to which twin was which when it really mattered, believed her. This is insane, I'd said. I'm Sarah. I'm the one who… Sarah, Mom interrupted, using that tone that meant the discussion was over. Your sister has worked hard for this. Don't ruin her moment with petty jealousy. But you'll get in somewhere good too, Dad assured me. Maybe not Yale, but somewhere. I'd stood there, watching my twin sister celebrate my achievement, while my parents, who'd seen me study until dawn, who'd driven me to SAT prep at 6 a.m., who'd signed permission slips for all my activities, chose to believe the convenient lie over the inconvenient truth. That night, Stella came to my room. Don't even think about making a fuss, she'd said quietly. Mom and Dad already believe me. Yale thinks I'm Sarah Miller now. You make waves. I'll tell them you're having a breakdown. Who do you think they'll believe? The daughter who's always been difficult, or the one who's always needed their protection? You can't do this. It's fraud. It's done. She examined her nails. Look, you'll be fine. You're the smart one, remember? You'll figure something out. Maybe community college. I heard they don't even check IDs. She left me there, destroyed. But here's the thing about being the smart one. You learn to adapt. I couldn't go to Yale. Stella had made sure of that, registering under my name before I could prove otherwise. But I could go elsewhere. I applied to Columbia using my middle name, Sarah Elizabeth instead of Sarah Jane. Different enough to avoid confusion, same person on paper. I got in, not with a full scholarship that had been stolen, but with loans I'd be paying off for years. I worked 3 jobs through college, lived on ramen and spite, graduated summa cum laude, while Stella barely scraped through Yale with C's, trading on my name and my reputation. She'd stolen my scholarship, but she couldn't steal my brain. After graduation, I'd built my career carefully. Investment banking, MBA at night. Every achievement earned twice, once for success, once to overcome starting behind. By 30, I was a VP at Hartman Capital. I had a penthouse, a portfolio, and a reputation that was actually mine. Stella? She'd parlayed her Yale degree, MY Yale degree, into a series of jobs she couldn't keep. Firms would hire Sarah Miller, Yale graduate, and get Stella instead. She'd last 6 months, maybe a year, before her incompetence showed. Then she'd move on, leaving confused employers wondering how a Yale graduate could be so mediocre. She'd been smart enough to use her married name professionally, Stella Morrison, keeping the Yale credential but distancing herself from the performance. For 10 years, she'd coasted on my achievement. Until today. "Sarah," my assistant knocked. "There's a woman here to see you." "Says she's your sister?" Stella burst in before I could answer, designer suit wrinkled, face flushed. "What did you do?" she hissed. "Had lunch. Reviewed portfolios. Oh, and took a call from Preston Associates. Lovely firm. Very thorough background checks. You told them, didn't you?" "You vindictive." "Told them what?" I asked innocently. "That Sarah Miller graduated from Yale in 2014 with a degree in political science?" "That's true." Of course, they were confused about some discrepancies. "What discrepancies?" I pulled up the email from Preston's hiring manager. "Well, for starters, the transcripts don't match your work history. Apparently, Sarah Miller was taking advanced economics at Yale while simultaneously working entry-level retail in Ohio. Impressive multitasking." Stella's face went white. "Then there's the recommendation letters. Funny thing, Professor Davidson remembers Sarah Miller very well. Brilliant student, he said. Wrote a thesis on income inequality. Strange that when they asked you about it in the interview, you couldn't remember your own thesis topic. You're destroying my life." "No, I'm correcting a decade-old clerical error." I stood, facing my twin for the first time in years. "See, Preston called Columbia to verify my employment history. Got confused when they found 2 Sarah Millers in their system. We cleared it up, of course. I'm Sarah Elizabeth Miller, Columbia graduate, Hartman Capital VP. You're who again?" "I'm Sarah Miller, the Yale graduate. Are you, though?" I pulled out the file I'd kept. "Because I have some interesting documents. Like this copy of our high school transcripts, the real ones, showing Stella Miller with a 2.8 GPA. This email from Yale admissions, time-stamped before you stole my letter, confirming Sarah J. Miller's acceptance. These photos from my high school award ceremonies. Want to explain why you were never in them if you were the smart one? Those could be faked. Could be. But this can't." I pulled out my ace. Security footage from our high school, showing you leaving early on SAT day because you were sick. Hard to score perfectly when you weren't there, isn't it? "How do you have?" "The janitor, Mr. Peterson. Remember him? You were awful to him." "I wasn't. He kept copies when the school upgraded their system. Thought I might need them someday." I smiled. He was right. Stella sank into a chair. "What do you want?" "Nothing. I have everything I want. Built it myself, actually." "So you're just going to ruin me?" "Out of spite." "Spite?" I laughed. "Stella, I haven't thought about you in years. This isn't revenge. This is just truth finally catching up. You've been living on borrowed time and stolen credentials. The bill's due. What am I supposed to do? I'll lose everything. You'll lose everything you stole. There's a difference. My kids will learn their mother is a fraud. Maybe it'll teach them the importance of earning their own achievements." She started crying. The tears that had always worked on our parents, that had gotten her out of every consequence. "Please, Sarah. We're sisters. Twins. Doesn't that mean anything?" "It meant everything. Until you decided it meant you could take what was mine because we shared a face." I handed her a tissue. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to formally notify every employer you've ever had that you've been using fraudulent credentials. You're going to pay back any salary you earned under false pretenses." "That's impossible. That's law. Fraud has consequences." I continued. "You're going to legally change your name to something that doesn't sound like mine. And you're going to stay away from me, my career, and my life. Permanently. Or what? Or I file criminal charges. Identity theft. Fraud. The FBI takes these things seriously, especially when it involves federal student aid." I let that sink in. 10 years, Stella. That's the sentence for what you did. Still think stealing my future was worth it." She left, defeated. I sat back down, looking at the file I'd carried for a decade. Every receipt. Every record. Every piece of proof that I was who I'd always been. The smart one, the driven one, the one who earned her success. My phone rang. The hiring manager from Preston. "Ms. Miller? I'm calling about your sister. Or rather, the woman claiming to be your sister. We've decided to pursue criminal charges. This level of fraud." "Actually," I interrupted, I'd prefer you didn't. But she is facing consequences. Losing her job is enough. I don't need her in prison. I need her to live with the knowledge that everything she achieved was built on a lie. That's very generous. No, I corrected. It's strategic. She's my twin. Her mugshot would look like mine. I've worked too hard to have my face associated with her crimes. After he hung up, I locked the file away one last time. Evidence preserved but no longer needed. The truth had finally surfaced. That night, my parents called. First time in 3 years. How could you do this to your sister? Mom demanded. Which sister? I asked. The one who stole from Sarah, or Sarah who was stolen from? Silence. Then quieter. We always knew. The admission hit like a slap. What? We knew you were the smart one. The Yale one. But Stella needed it more. You were always going to succeed. She needed the boost. So you let her steal. We let her have a chance. Dad interjected. Look at you now, successful without Yale. We were right. You didn't need it. I needed my parents to choose truth over favoritism. I needed my family to protect my achievements, not gift them to my sister. I stopped. You know what? It doesn't matter what I needed. I got what I earned. Stella got what she stole. And now she's getting what she deserves. I hung up and blocked their numbers. 10 years ago, they'd all cheered congratulations to Sarah on her Yale acceptance, while I stood there, invisible, erased. Today, I sat in my corner office, looking at my Columbia diploma, my MBA, my life built on truth and effort, and my own name, Sarah Elizabeth Miller. Stella had stolen my scholarship, my identity, my family's support. But she'd forgotten one crucial thing. You can steal an acceptance letter, but you can't steal ability. You can fake a degree, but you can't fake competence. You can take someone's name, but you can't take their drive. And you should always remember that the smart one keeps the receipts. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.